Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are talking the J.J. Abrams interview. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm a little late to the party on this one. That's because I didn't want to talk about it, but people keep asking me. So, yeah, let's get into it right here on the high ground. All right. So for those of you that don't know, recently J.J. Abrams did an interview with Collider. It was the 10-year anniversary of his film Super 8. And so that's what they were talking about. But during the interview, he gets asked about the sequel trilogy and about whether or not having like a really strict 3-movie plan would have been beneficial for the film. And people were asking me what my thoughts are on his response. Basically, he doesn't say anything. He says nothing. He completely avoids the question. I think it's kind of hilarious because his response is like, well, it's important to know where you're going, but you also can't stick to you have to be aware of what's going on and able to make changes if certain things aren't working out or are working. And he just kind of goes on a tangent and just says one thing for and one thing against over and over and over again. But you don't have to take my word for it. Now I'm going to play this at increase the speed. Hopefully, I don't know, YouTube's not going to get mad at me. But I'm also going to put a link to this directly in the description so you guys can go see it on your own. Because always, I don't want you to take my word for it. Always go directly to the source. But yeah, let's take a look.
The ground and also concluded it. Do you feel like that trilogy would have benefited from planning out a very strict 3-movie story from the very beginning? Or do you enjoy that kind of creative freedom to kind of take the characters different ways and kind of see how it goes?
I've been involved in a number of projects that have been, in most cases, series that have ideas that begin the thing where you feel like you know where it's going to go. And then sometimes it's an actor who comes in. Other times it's a relationship that, as it's written, doesn't quite work. And things that you think are going to just, be so well received, just crash and burn. And other things that you think like, oh, that's a little small moment. That's a 1-episode character suddenly become a hugely important part of the story. And I feel like what I've learned as a lesson a few times now, and it's something that especially in this pandemic year, working with writers, the lesson is that, you have to plan things the best you can. And you always need to be able to respond to the unexpected. And the unexpected can come in all sorts of forms. And I do think that, there's nothing more important than knowing where you're going. And there are projects that I've worked on where we had some ideas, but we hadn't worked through them enough. We had sometimes we had some ideas, but then we weren't allowed to do them the way we wanted to. I've had all sorts of situations where, you plan things in a certain way and you suddenly find yourself doing something that's 180 degrees different. And then sometimes it works really well and you feel like, wow, that really came together. And other times you think, oh my God, I can't believe this is where we are. And sometimes when it's not working out, it's because it's what you planned. And other times when it's not working out, it's because it didn't. It's like you never really know. But having a plan, I have learned in some cases the hard way, is the most critical thing, because otherwise you don't know what you're setting up. You don't know what you're what to emphasize, because if you don't know the inevitable of the story, you're just as good as your last sequence or effect or joke or whatever. But you want to be leading to something inevitable.
Yeah. So basically, that's what his response was. Again, he does end it by saying that you want to know where you're leading. How this relates specifically to Star Wars, he doesn't say. Oh, we don't know. Now, people who dislike the sequel trilogy are going to take this and run with it and say, oh, he's saying that if you don't have a plan, you're going to fail. People who do like the sequels are going to take this and run with it and say, you need to know where you're going. So if you have a plan, like you want the main character Rey to start out as a no one and end up being the Skywalker of this franchise, that's knowing where you're going, and then you can interpret whatever you need to after that. I will say, in what he's saying, I actually do feel the death of Carrie Fisher changed plans, for one thing. But overall, in this, we can interpret, what we want, and we're going to see whatever our bias is going to tell us to see in his words. But as far as what he actually said, was nothing. It was really nothing. I don't have a lot more to say on it. It really reminded me of this of this Muhammad Ali clip. I felt like he was just like dodging, and who knows? I have people in my comments saying, "Oh, well, if he's dodging a question, that means he has something to hide." Maybe he does. Maybe he is tired of these questions, or maybe he just wants to talk about his film Super 8 because that's what they're there to talk about. I don't know. Again, I'm not inside of his mind, so when I talk about these stories, I'm going to talk about what was actually said. And in this case, it was pretty much nothing. So, yep, those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed my analysis of this, please subscribe to the channel. Whenever things like this pop up and we get news, you can rest assured that I am going to go directly to the source. I'm going to try to show you exactly what was being said. Yes, I can offer my 2 cents, my interpretation, but I don't want. There's a lot of bad information that gets spread. Because people are speaking from a place of bias or their own personal interpretation, and whether or not that has, I just believe you should always look at the source, read the source first, make sure you get the source material, and then move forward from there. So that's what I'm always going to do. And if you enjoy that, you'll probably enjoy my channel. All right, you guys have a good one. May the force be with you.